Well, hello, everybody. I thought it was time to come out with another video. Kind of taking a break. But anyway, we'll go from there. I'll probably end up doing some rambling today. Talk about a few things. Lots of things going on in my life right now. I've been quite busy. Excited though, I've got 4 months sober today. And I am so excited that you were able to join me today to have a little conversation, to have a little connection, a little networking. Lots of stuff on my mind. It's been interesting couple weeks. Lots of stuff in the media and the news. Lots of, the virus is doing another uptake. It's getting worse again. The fighting over should we wear masks or not, which I find ridiculous. People, if you're offended that I'm wearing a mask because you think I'm wearing it to not get sick from you, you're wrong on that. I'm wearing it so you don't get sick and then take it home to your family. I'm actually doing it because I'm concerned about you. You fucking morons. Anyway. Yeah, it's one of those days. This is kind of how I feel. Yeah. So anyway. So today I was with my therapist today, and we were talking about a few things. And one of the things that stuck out to me that we were talking about is about saying how you feel, being honest, having opinions, how to say it in the right way, because we live in a society today that everything is about being PC. Everything. What I was trying to tell her about is what it seems like no matter what you say, there's always someone out there that can take what you say, what you do, what you post on Facebook, and be offended by it. And there are so many people that live in fear of that. They feel like they can't say anything to anybody, because I might offend them. No. I can't control how you feel or your emotions. I can't control how you take or perceive something that I say. If you're offended by something, maybe you need to look at it and see if there's any truth in it, instead of trying to crucify that person for that opinion. Now, there are some opinions that are out there that are, without a doubt, ridiculous, that are over the top, that are wrong. But having different views, having different opinions, different ways of looking at things, that's healthy in our society. Nothing changes if we're not able to debate and look at what's wrong with things. So just because you have an opinion about something that you think you're right on doesn't mean you're right. I have to think about that all the time when I go out into life. Not everything I think is right, and I've had to adjust it, and that's okay. It's okay to realize that there's things that you were wrong in, and to make that change. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I'm so annoyed with people being so sensitive about every little thing that gets said. And then they get so bogged down in it that it just paralyzes them. They can't get beyond it. I don't care what your opinion of me is. I could care less. I mean, you are not someone that's going to control my emotions that way. You don't like something I say, and you want to give me your opinion on it, great. I'm all for it, and we will sit down and we will have healthy dialogue about it, and we can talk about it and see where we stand on it. And we should be able to walk away okay with each other just because we're different. We shouldn't have to have hate for each other. But that's all I see. That's all I see anymore in the world that we live in. Hate. You're wasting your time. That you could be out there doing other things with your life. Yeah. Seems like some of this police stuff has died down, which is good and not good, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see how all of that washes out. You got it being an election year, not knowing what's going to happen with that. For me personally, I don't like really either one of the guys. I don't see either one of them as great candidates. Again, my opinion. Anyway. So, let me go into more of what I want to talk about. So, I started working on step 3 going into step 4 today with my sponsor, Isaac. And I've said this before. I mean, it's what this podcast is about. It's about, pretty much, it's about being that I'm an atheist. Obviously, I'm called a recovery atheist. Being that I'm an atheist, it's about how am I going to do AA in the steps where a higher power or God, is being forced down my throat day in and day out. Even though it says it's a God of your conception, the God word, if you went in there and counted how many times it's said in that book, it's unreal how many times. So me and Isaac were working through it in different ways. Of a lot of times the higher power where it says God in there or anything, I use AA instead, to kind of put myself in the thought process of, AA in working the program is what's going to be a higher power at this point. I don't know. Tell me your opinions on it. This is the real purpose of this podcast that I'm going to get into. I've been kind of talking a little bit more about current events, but the truth of it is I am the recovery atheist, and I want to have a debate of God and AA. NA. Any kind of support group that deals with 12 steps where a God is involved, a higher power. Now, I hear people tell me all the time that without a higher power, without God, you cannot be sober. And when I hear that, I want to scream. I want to lose control and literally want to say this. Shut up! Again, over and over and over again, this is what I want to say to him. Shut up! Shut up! There are many people out there that have gotten sober without a God being involved. Many. Thousands. It's AA is not the end-all and all of being able to be in recovery. That being said, I'm working the steps and I'm going through AA, which will help me be able to be in sobriety. But I don't necessarily need a God to pray to give me that opportunity to have recovery. It's just, that's such a closed mind way of thinking, to think that they're the only way and there's no other way. That God is the only way, there's no other way. I have not had God involved in this recovery. Not 1 minute, not one iota involved. God has not been placed in my life to help me stay in recovery. I do not pray to a God. I do not pray to some imaginary thing in the sky. I believe in what is real and what I can see and what I can hear, what I can taste, what I can touch. Science. Let me say that. I believe in science. And there's nothing wrong with you. If you want to have religion as part of it and have that be part of your recovery, there's nothing against that. But I will recover without God. I don't know. Do you maybe some of you out there, that are in AA at this moment or have been in AA and have left and are struggling with this concept, I'm sure at some point you've dealt with these issues, these feelings of like, this makes no sense. That this what, I have to believe in the mystical? No. I mean, it's amazing in a meeting where I sit there and the minute I say, when we're talking about a subject like a higher power, and the minute we're reading in the big book and it's God, 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 and I say my true feelings on it and I say exactly how I feel about it, this is what I get. I mean, literally, they look at me like I'm an alien or something. Like, I'm the first one who ever come up with that idea that you can recover without God. Recovery shouldn't be based on something that's not achievable, something that doesn't have measurable goals to it, and praying to a God for everything to be okay, that everything's going to work out because he has this internal design, this plan, this grand divine plan for me in my life. No. I mean, if his plan is so perfect that he knows everything is what's going to happen in the plan that he has for you in your life, if his divine plan is so perfect, how the hell then can children be raped and killed? That's part of his perfect plan? Murder, corruption, all of that is part of his perfect plan? No, it's not. It's not part of his plan. If it is, then I don't want to be a part of it in the first place because it's pure evil. Pure evil. We need to be able to live life without having to feel like we have to have some external I mean, I get it. I've got to ask for help from other people. I can't do this on my own. I get it. I completely get it. I am not my own God. I completely get it. And if I live in that an egotistical way of living, then it's going to be over with. You can forget it. It's done. If I get back into my own ego again, it's done. Forget it. Over. I mean, literally, when I get like that, I have to. I have to stop. I have to stop. I can't get back into that, because all it is for me is a way back to relapse. It is this is what it is. I mean,
it's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. Every single time I get back and start taking my will back. Now that beats the question of then, well, what does that mean? What does will mean? When you say you're taking your will back, does that mean you're taking it away from God's will? Or are you just taking the will back, meaning from the people that are there to help you, from the things that you're doing in your life that are being productive for you and healthy for you? Yeah. Does that mean that you get to... Okay, so this is how I look at it. When I take my will back, it's all about being selfish. Egotistical, selfishness, self-centered. It's all about me. I'm going to manipulate you. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to be able to deal with it. I become the abuser when I take my will back. But yet I'll sit there in those meetings and I'll hear people start talking and they bring up Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And He's the reason why they are sober today, and you should ask Him into your life because He will give you that freedom, that feeling of peace. Oh, Jesus, please, please come into my heart. And I hear this stuff, and all I want to do is say, all I want to say is,
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
no. I just, no. I'm not going to do that. You can try to sell me on it all you want, but it's not going to happen. Your little things that you come to me about and you tell me about, this is why I believe this way, and don't you know the Bible is true? Don't you know that Jesus was a real man? Even though it's not proven. There's been many Jesuses amongst history, and there's only like one documentation and throughout Roman documentation dealing with Barabbas, but otherwise they don't say any mention of what he actually did. I'm sorry, he wasn't a real person. You can go back in time and look at historically religious views and texts that were written way before the Bible that have the same idea that is represented in the Bible. You look at Noah's flood. Gilgamesh knew that story was written way before Noah's Ark was written. It's the same story. Look it up, people. Stop being so naive that just because you're being told or that you've been indoctrinated through as a child that this is the way it is, that it is. Question reality. Stop being a pawn. Stop being a robot that's been programmed to say what they want you to say. Start actually thinking about, what does this stuff mean to you? Truly. So as I say that, this is where it's time to begin.
Shall we begin?
This is where I begin the true nature of this podcast. Can you recover and be an atheist? The Christians will say no. Christians will say you have no morality at all because you're not a Christian, you don't believe in God. So how do you get your morals? They will sit there and say that without the Ten Commandments that God put into place, there would be no morals today. And that our nature and our law systems and everything were based upon that. That they were based on the idea that God is the only reason why we know right from wrong. And all I got to say to that when I hear that is, it's ridiculous. It's written in the Bible that Moses killed a guard who was beating a slave, looked around to see if anyone saw him, and then tried to conceal the body and put the body away so he wouldn't be caught. He felt that he was wrong in it. There was morality there before the Ten Commandments was even built, before it was even made. I know right from wrong without having to believe in a God. I know I'm not supposed to murder, rape, kill, steal, all of that. I know that. Even without believing in a God. So when they come to me and they want to preach at me, and they want to preach at you about this thing, this stuff that they want to bring up and say that, well, how can you be a good person without God? I want you to stand up and put them in their place. You don't have to take that anymore. We live in a society today that more and more atheists are coming to the surface, and more religious is being looked at as ridiculous, as cults. And I feel that way about what I was raised in as a child in a Pentecostal church. Is there was very many cultic ways to it. It was very much like a cult. Now that I look back on it and I see some of the stuff, it could have easily been defined as a cult. And I don't look at my mom and dad as cult leaders or that they are bad people or they're trying to hurt people or anything like that. I don't believe that they're David Koresh or Jim Jones. They're not. They're not drinking the Kool-Aid. But I do feel that they are blinded to the reality of what the real world is. And that's unfortunate. They've given up all of their lives to this. And I've watched them battle being poor and the anxiety and stress of dealing with church members and where are they going to pastor next and are they going to have a home and I'm wondering what for. What is the payoff? What, you get to go to a heaven that you don't even know is really there? And people will sit there and they'll say, well, I know there is a heaven and a hell. I know that there's Jesus. I've had a spiritual experience with this thing called God. And again, I hear that and I just want to say, just because you've had an experience doesn't mean other people have. I have not. The experiences I've had in the church has been fake. That I've been doing what my parents and what the people around me wanted so I could be accepted. I never truly accepted it. I sinned all through it, according to their doctrine. wake up, people. Let's go out there. They want to go out and they want to testify and bring people to their beliefs and bring them into the church. Why can't we? We don't have to be afraid to stand up and say that we're an atheist, that we don't believe in your bullshit lies, that we believe in what is real, that we don't live in a fantasy world. Times I feel like I'm in the Matrix that way. I feel like, am I taking the blue pill or the red pill? Do you want to see the true world, the reality of what it is, or do you want to keep living in that safe, controlled environment? Or do you want to get out and take some risk and really be able to enjoy life and see it for what it is? So I'm going to start getting into these podcasting every week. I'm about ready to be done with outpatient treatment on Friday. My job is switching to 7 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, so I'll be home in the evenings. I'll have a lot more time to do more podcasting now. That's pretty much what I've been doing, is waiting for that to free up to be able to do it. And I'll get more and more topics together. Today I wasn't even planning on doing one. I had some time, an hour between something I need to do, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I had some stuff on my mind. I said, you know what, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to throw a video at it. I'm going to get some stuff off my mind. So this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to get out of here. And again, I thank you for people who have subscribed. Please do subscribe. If you like this video, pass it on, tell other people about it. I would really appreciate it. If you have a channel that you want to collaborate with me on some of this stuff, let me know. I'm definitely down for special speakers, and I'll definitely have those in the future. But yeah, please, thank you for watching this. So this is what I'm going to leave people with today. And it's going to get a little brutal, so just bear with me. I don't care if you're offended by what I believe or what I say. I don't. If you don't like it, then don't listen to me, don't come around me. That's fine. But I do have the right to my opinion. I do have the right to say what is on my mind, whether it's right or wrong. And I have the right to change my mind, and if it is wrong, make it right. But you do not have the right to muzzle me. I will no longer allow that to happen. So if you don't like what I say, fuck you. I don't care. I'm going to live life the way that I know I need to. And right now, the way I'm living it, this is the freest I've ever been in my life. I actually like myself, love myself. I'm actually doing something with my life. I'm actually part of society. I love myself. And I hope you do too, out there. I hope you love yourself too. And like I've said in many different things that I talk about, I'm just going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to say what I need to say, whether or not you like it or not. I don't care. In fact, I want you to come on here and I want you to argue with me and try to bring up your points so I can sit there and bash them back. I love that. I love that dialogue. It's so awesome. It's great. Awesome. Just bring it on. But outside of that, I think I'm going to most likely drop the mic here, and I'm going to move on with my day. If you have any comments or anything you want for me to look at to try to cover in future podcasts, just let me know. And like I said, continue to Tell other people about it. The more and more I get into this, the better and better each one of these videos are going to get. They're going to get better and better and better. In the process of getting my studio fully set up, including soundboard and everything today, sound effects. I've got a lot of editing software that are happening right now. So I'm eventually going to get this to where it's going to be, I even got my sponsor's got a studio that I'll be able to do some podcasting and use some of that equipment that he has as well. So eventually I am going to get this up and running to where every couple days, most likely, you'll have something that you'll be able to watch. So bring it on. Bring it on. And to all you Christian, conservative, God-fearing people, I will end it with this.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
That's right. All right. Love everybody. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace out from the Recovery Atheist.